There are five chains that quietly rule most lives not by force, but by silent agreement. They are so common, so woven into daily thinking that most people never recognize their grip. But look honestly at your own days. How many of your choices are truly yours? How much of what you want has been surrendered to fear, to habit, to the opinions of others, to the comfort of the familiar, or to memories that refuse to die? Most people drift through life convinced that freedom is their birthright, never seeing the invisible leashes tugging at their steps. You cannot claim a new future if you still answer to the commands of the past. You cannot rise if you let comfort sing you to sleep. You cannot lead if you let others' voices drown out your own. If you wish to change your life, you must first identify what truly controls it. Are you ruled by your own reason, or by emotion, by what is, or by what once was, by what is right, or by what is easy? This speech will hold up a mirror to your habits, your fears, your loyalties, and your beliefs. You will see not just the five chains, but the cost of allowing them to rule unchallenged. Ask yourself with painful honesty, which of these still holds you? Which do you defend, even as it keeps you small? You will hear stories of men and women who broke these chains, not because it was easy, but because they reached a point where the price of obedience was greater than the pain of change. You will recognize the excuses you have carried, the stories you have told yourself, and you will be asked to lay them down. Do not listen as a spectator. Listen as one who intends to be free. As this speech unfolds, you will understand your life is not controlled by fate, but by the five chains you allow. The moment you refuse to obey them, life must begin to change. This is not inspiration, it is confrontation. The freedom you seek is not given. It is claimed by those who see the chains for what they are and who choose, at last, to walk free. Listen closely. Before this speech ends, the choice to be ruled or to be free will become yours alone. And once you see the chains, you will never again be able to call them destiny. The tyranny of public opinion. Look closely at your life, not as others see it, but as it truly is when the doors are closed and silence returns. How many choices bear your own signature, made with the clear stamp of your honest conviction? How many of your youthful ambitions, your wild hopes, have been quietly buried beneath the weight of other people's glances, their whispered comments, their raised eyebrows? Pause and consider. How many times have you turned your back on your own sense of what is right, only to please those who neither labor in your field nor share your journey, who do not bear your burdens, and who cannot answer for the state of your soul when night falls? Public opinion is a wind that cannot be tamed. One day it lifts a man as if he were a hero. The next it tears him down as if he were the lowest of the low. You may spend your best years, your brightest mornings and your longest nights, twisting yourself into every shape the world demands. You may hunger for a sliver of their approval, a kind word or nod, and yet never once taste the steady peace of a conscience at rest. Worse yet, when you become so eager to please, you lose your substance. You become a mirror for other people's changing judgments, a hollow echo of whatever happens to be fashionable or popular that hour. You no longer carve your own character, you reflect what is handed to you. The first, most difficult task is to face the raw truth. The crowd does not know your hidden battles. They do not feel your secret doubts, your hopes, your wounds. They cannot measure the strength it takes you to rise again and again, or the reasons that move your heart. Their applause cannot build your foundation. Their ridicule, no matter how sharp, cannot tear you down unless you surrender your power and let them rule your spirit. Withdraw quietly but firmly the authority you have given to the judgments of others. Take it back. Stand alone in your mind. In the stillness, ask yourself a single question. Does this road before me align with what is right, with what is just and true? If the answer is yes, walk forward, let them whisper, let them scoff. If the answer is no, turn away, let them gossip, let them jeer. Their voices are only noise on the wind. You must learn to walk through the laughter, the silence, the rumors, and stand unmoved, steady, as a mountain beneath a passing storm. For it is only when you stand firm, guided by your own inner compass, that you will find a life worth living, one not shaped by the shifting moods of others, but built on the quiet certainty of your own soul. The chains of the past. There are some who walk among us as if alive, yet dwell chiefly in the shadows of yesterday. Their hearts are burdened by memories that refuse to fade, their minds replaying the same scenes again and again, a careless word spoken in anger, a door that closed too soon, a dream left abandoned. Each day, these souls rise not into the promise of the morning, but into the long shadow cast by what once was. Regret sits at their breakfast table. Disappointment follows them down every hallway. The world may change and seasons may turn, but within they are prisoners, shackled by memories that never grow old, yet never grow wise. Consider your own life. How often do you find yourself haunted by the ghostly echo of a mistake, a failure, a moment when you fell short of your own standards? How many hours have you wasted revisiting old hurts, as if turning them over in your mind could somehow change their shape or soften their sting? There are those who, even as years pass, cannot lay down the weight of a grudge, cannot let go of words spoken in anger or of love withdrawn when it was most needed. Instead, they replay these moments endlessly, wearing grooves into the mind, so the present becomes a mere echo of the past, and the future is closed off before it ever begins. But the truth, which we so often resist, is this: the past no longer exists. It is gone, like yesterday's breath, carried away by winds you cannot call back. The rooms in which you suffered or triumphed, the faces that smiled or scowled at you, they have all faded into the mists of time. What remains are only memories, and memories have no power but that which you, yourself, allow them. A wound suffered long ago cannot bleed anew unless you open it with your own hands. The mistakes that once brought shame, the failures that once seemed to define you, they are powerless now. The world, and your place in it, has changed. Still, it is so easy to hand the past the keys to the present. Perhaps it is because the heart clings to what it knows, even if what it knows is pain. There is a strange comfort in familiar suffering, in the well-worn story of if only and what might have been. But consider, every hour spent living in the world of what has already happened is an hour lost from the life that still lies ahead. Each moment you allow regret to hold the reins is a moment stolen from the possibility of something new, something greater, something alive. Do not let your yesterdays become your jailer. Do not grant to old wounds and disappointments the authority to decide what you will become. The battles you lost, the foolish words you wish you could unsay, the betrayals and rejections that left their mark, they are finished. They cannot reach across the boundary of now unless you, in your own mind, invite them in. Forgiveness, true forgiveness, is not a sign of weakness. It is the purest kind of courage. It is the decision to walk forward, to unburden yourself from what cannot be changed, to release others, and most importantly, to release yourself from the sentence of endless self-punishment. To forgive is to stand in the clear light of today and declare, I am not my failures. I am not the one who was left behind. I am not forever the person who was hurt, laughed at, dismissed, or misunderstood. I am the one who stands here now breathing, thinking, willing. I am the only one who can choose the next step, the next word, the next deed. It is easy to believe, when the pain is fresh, that you are nothing more than your lowest moment. But that is an illusion. You are not the sum of your wounds, your defeats, or your worst decisions. You are the sum of every morning you rose despite disappointment, every time you offered kindness when bitterness would have been easier, every lesson you carried forward even when it came wrapped in sorrow. The past may inform you, but it must never command you. It may shape your understanding, but it must never define your boundaries. So let what is gone be truly gone. Do not bury it in bitterness or resentment, but lay it down with honor. Acknowledge what happened. Do not pretend it was pleasant or just. Face it squarely. Then release it. If you must remember, remember not the pain alone, but the survival. Not just the loss, but the fact that you endured, and you are here still breathing, still hoping, still able to act. When you look back, see not only what wounded you, but what you learned. See not only what was taken, but what could never be stolen, your courage, your dignity, your unbroken spirit. The past has its place, as every book has its ending. You may revisit it for wisdom, but you must not live there. If you find yourself haunted by old stories, speak softly to your heart. Yes, these things happened. Yes, they hurt. But I am not made only of my scars. I am the one who walks forward. I will take what wisdom I can and leave the rest to dust. For as long as you remain a captive to yesterday, the gifts of today cannot reach you, and the promise of tomorrow cannot unfold. Let go, not because you wish to forget, but because you choose to live. The chains of the past are made of thoughts, thoughts that you, and only you, can choose to lay aside. When you release them, you make room for new dreams, for hope, for the unknown blessings still to come. You are not bound to the person you once were. You are free to become the person you are meant to be. And that freedom begins the moment you decide to lay down the weight of what is gone and to walk lightly, bravely into the present and the future that is yours to claim. The torment of the future. How many nights have slipped from your grasp, not because of real danger, but because of the shadows you conjured in your mind? How many silent hours have you spent staring at the ceiling, tangled in worries that never left the realm of imagination? Think back. How much strength, how much hope have you poured out rehearsing disasters that never came, bargaining with an unseen fate, bracing for pain that never arrived? There is a kind of exhaustion that settles into the soul, not from the weight of true hardship, but from the invisible burdens we agree to carry, convinced that by fearing them, we can somehow keep them at bay. Anxiety is the most cunning thief. It does not come in the night to steal your possessions. Instead, It comes in the daylight, whispering in your ear, sowing doubt, turning every hour into a rehearsal for some future misfortune. It robs you of the warmth of the present moment, replacing it with visions of things that might never come to pass. Every moment spent in dread of what tomorrow might hold is a moment torn away from the peace and power available to you right now. We give away today, one fearful thought at a time, and in doing so, we lose the only thing we truly possess. The future is a phantom. It is a shape seen at a distance, shifting and insubstantial, always out of reach. No man has ever laid a hand on tomorrow. No matter how hard we try, we cannot predict the weather that will come, the people we will meet, the obstacles or opportunities that will rise to meet us. To live in terror of what may happen is to bleed before you are ever wounded, to suffer before life has ever delivered its blow. How many times have you looked back on a night of restless worry only to realize that what you feared never arrived? The sun rose, the world spun on, and you survived. Yet, while you waited for disaster, you forfeited joy, gratitude, and the strength that comes from presence. There is wisdom in preparation. The farmer does not ignore the changing of the seasons, nor does the sailor cast off without reading the clouds. To prepare is to honor the uncertainty of life, to build your house with strong walls, to keep your tools sharp and your wits sharper. But there is a line, subtle but vital, that separates wise preparation from the poison of worry. Worry is a toxin brewed in the mind and poured into the heart, convincing you that imagining trouble is the same as preventing it. It is not. Preparation is rooted in action. Worry is rooted in helplessness. Prepare what you can with diligence and thoughtfulness. Set your affairs in order. Tend to the tasks that truly matter and act with intention. But after your preparations are made, refuse to hand your mind over to the unknown. Refuse to kneel before the endless parade of what-ifs. When the winds of fear begin to blow, draw yourself back to this moment, the only piece of time that is truly yours to command. There will be nights when your mind spins like a top, chasing every possible misfortune, inventing dangers out of shadows. When this happens, pause. Ask yourself with honesty, am I in danger now, at this very moment? Is this problem here, real, standing before me, or is it merely a ghost summoned by my own imagination? If you find that you are safe, be grateful for that safety. Let thankfulness fill the spaces that fear once occupied. If, on the other hand, there is a challenge before you that demands action, then act with courage and clarity. But do not spend your precious hours imprisoned by predictions, held captive by visions that may never materialize. The power to face hardship does not lie in worrying about the future, but in meeting each day as it comes. The strength you seek is not found by peering around corners or trying to read the script of fate. It is found in presence, in the willingness to stand where you are, to breathe deeply, and to trust that whatever comes, you will meet it step by step, just as you always have. Remember, every hardship you have faced in life was once just a shadow on the horizon, a worry for tomorrow. Yet when it arrived, you found a way, you endured, you took the blows, you made the decisions, you persisted. And now here you are, stronger for every trial, wiser for every challenge overcome. It is natural to wish for certainty, to crave assurance that nothing bad will ever befall you. But the world does not grant such wishes. All it offers is today and the chance to meet it with integrity and courage. When anxiety knocks at your door, do not invite it in for supper. Acknowledge its presence. See it for what it is, a trickster, a storyteller, a master of exaggeration. Refuse to be ruled by its tales. Practice returning again and again to the present moment. Let your mind rest upon what you can see, touch, and influence right now. There is great power in this discipline. In the here and now, you are not a victim of fate, but the master of your own actions, your own thoughts, your own attitude. If fate delivers hardship to your door, you will meet it as you have met every hardship before, one step at a time, one breath at a time. You will not face a lifetime's troubles all at once. You will meet them in their season, and only then. The future will come as it always does, one sunrise, 1 hour, one moment at a time. And when it comes, you will be ready not because you rehearsed suffering, but because you live today with courage, presence, and trust in your own strength. Meet each day as it comes with a steady heart. Do not allow the torment of imagined tomorrows to poison the gift of today. If you are safe, let yourself rest. If you must act, act. But let your spirit be free from the chains of endless prediction. The only true strength is found in the present, and it is always enough. The power of emotion. Within every man and woman, there are storms that rage unseen, tempests of anger, envy, sorrow, and pride. These are the ancient forces that shape destinies and shatter peace. If left unguarded, they seize the reins of our words, steer the course of our choices, and often leave behind a path marked by regret and ruin. They are not strangers who knock politely, but wild intruders that burst in, loud and sudden, flooding the house of the mind before you even know the latch was left open. To live well, to live nobly, is not to become cold or unmoved, as if life's great purpose was the numbness of a stone. No, the art of living is found in feeling deeply yet ruling wisely. The test is not whether you feel anger, envy, sorrow, or pride, but whether you let these guests become your master or your servant. Many allow themselves to be swept away by whatever passion comes roaring through the door. One harsh remark from a stranger, one disappointment, one stroke of bad fortune, and their composure vanishes. They become as leaves tossed by every wind, powerless in the grip of forces they never learned to tame. Yet, if you wish for peace, a peace that holds firm when storms gather, you must resolve to become the master within your own soul. The first step is always awareness. When you feel anger kindling within your chest, do not rush to release it in words or actions. Instead, pause. Hold the moment gently, as you would hold a fragile vase. Look at your anger with clear eyes and ask, will this serve me or will it enslave me? The pause is your first act of mastery, the refusal to be a mere vessel for whatever emotion happens to visit. When envy creeps in, whispering that others have what you do not, train your mind to look instead for gratitude. Consider what blessings already fill your life, what simple joys you have overlooked in your restless desire for more. Envy feeds on blindness. Gratitude restores sight. The one who can see his own abundance is not easily made bitter by what he lacks. When pride comes to your ear, whispering stories of your greatness, tempting you to think yourself above others or immune to error, remember the humility of dust. Recall how brief and uncertain is the journey of any human life. Pride is a fine cloak in victory, but a heavy chain in defeat. Humility is the key that unlocks growth, the light that reveals every hidden fault and every new possibility. When sorrow visits, as it does all who walk this earth, let it come. Feel its weight, but do not make your dwelling there. There is a difference between honoring your wounds and building your home among the ruins. Sorrow, if carried too long, becomes bitterness. If held too tightly, it suffocates the breath of hope. Allow yourself to grieve, but also allow yourself to heal. Every winter yields, in time, to spring. It must be said again, you are not your feelings. You are not the anger, nor the envy, nor the pride, nor the sorrow. You are the one who observes, who chooses, who decides what comes next. Emotions are visitors, sometimes welcome, sometimes not, but always passing. You are the host, the ruler, the one who may set boundaries, who may say, not today, or you may stay a while, but you do not have command here. This mastery is not achieved in a single day or with a single effort. It is trained moment by moment, just as a wild horse is brought to bridle by patience and consistency. There will be times when the old passions break free and thunder through your mind, sweeping away reason and restraint. When this happens, do not despair. Return to the work, pause, breathe, begin again. Every act of self-command is a stone set in the foundation of your peace. In the heat of anger, pause before you speak or act. A word loosed in wrath cannot be recalled. An action driven by rage may leave scars long after the feeling has cooled. In moments of envy, direct your gaze toward the gifts that are yours alone, the talents and comforts that have come quietly to you while you were looking elsewhere. In the glow of pride, remind yourself that the earth has swallowed greater men, and that humility is the armor that never fails. When sorrow presses close, grant yourself compassion, but do not weave your identity from its fabric. To train the mind in this way is to reclaim your strength. It is to build a fortress within, a place where the storms may howl but cannot overthrow. Over time, the wild horse becomes gentle at your command, the thunder within subsides, and you begin to sense the quiet, steady presence that is your truest self, untouched by passing moods, unconquered by any storm. The world may try to conquer you, to shake your composure with its noise and trials, but a mind that commands itself cannot be ruled by anything outside of it. To be master within is to be unassailable, to know a peace that is not fragile, a happiness that does not break at every sorrow, a strength that grows rather than fades in adversity. So make this your daily work. Train yourself moment by moment to pause, to breathe, to choose. Do not seek to banish emotion, but to rule it as a wise king rules his realm, not with cruelty or suppression, but with understanding, with vigilance, with unwavering command. This is the true power of emotion. Not that it rules you, but that by mastering it, you discover the deeper power within yourself, the seduction of comfort. Of all the chains that bind a person, there is one that seldom rattles, one that seldom draws alarm. It is neither cold nor heavy, neither sharp nor cruel. Instead, it is soft, almost inviting. It arrives not with the thunder of hardship, but with the gentle caress of comfort, ease, and pleasure. At first glance, these seem like blessings, gifts to be cherished after a day's labor. They are not enemies in themselves. Yet if you kneel before them, if you arrange your life to pursue only what is soft, safe, and pleasant, you will find yourself weakened, your willpower quietly dissolving. You will begin to trade the boundless possibilities of your own potential for nothing more than a fleeting sense of safety, a dull security that soothes for a moment but leaves the soul restless and unfulfilled. Comfort is subtle in its seduction. It does not bark commands or threaten violence. Instead, it whispers sweetly, urging you to choose the path of least resistance, to seek only warmth, to avoid the sharp stones and biting winds. The promise is always the same: rest, security, a soft place to land. But underneath this promise lies a danger more profound than any outward trial. For when comfort becomes your master, your spirit pays the price. What once ignited your ambition begins to flicker and fade. Your boldest dreams are tucked away for some day, and each passing year you find yourself settling for a life of quiet mediocrity. Greatness is not forged in comfort. It is not handed out to those who choose the familiar, the easy, the well lit path where nothing is demanded and nothing is risked. The strongest among us, the ones who rise while others sleep, who work while others wish, are those who have learned to seek out discomfort. They do not wait for hardship to come knocking, they pursue it. They understand that every worthwhile achievement begins as an uphill journey, that every victory is earned by enduring the weight of uncertainty and fatigue. Consider those who choose discomfort willingly. While others turn away from difficulty, they step forward. While the masses complain about what they must endure, these few endure without complaint. While the world waits for the perfect moment, for conditions to be just right, the resilient create their own opportunities by meeting adversity head on. They rise before the dawn, not because it is pleasant, but because they know that greatness is awakened in those early, solitary hours. They stretch their limits, not to prove something to the world, but to themselves, to sharpen the edge of their spirit. Comfort always promises you safety. It tells you that if you remain where you are, if you avoid the unknown, you will never be harmed. But it does not tell you the whole truth. The price of comfort is steep. The loss of your spirit's vigor, the numbing of your ambitions, the slow slumber of your dreams. To settle for comfort alone is to allow your mind and character to soften. The warmth of an easy life may soothe for a time, but it cannot satisfy the hunger of the soul for challenge, for growth, for meaning. If you desire to become strong, truly strong in mind, in heart, in character, you must change your relationship to discomfort. Rather than fearing it, you must befriend it. Rather than avoiding challenge, you must seek it out. Every trial is an opportunity, every hardship a hidden gift. Step willingly into the arena of challenge, not with dread, but with the knowledge that each difficulty you face will shape you, strengthen you, prepare you for greater things ahead. Ask yourself, not just once in a while, but daily, have I done something hard today? Have I chosen the growth of my character over the fleeting pleasure of the moment? If you cannot answer yes, if you find yourself slipping into the embrace of comfort without resistance, know that you are drifting slowly, silently toward weakness. The drift is quiet, and that is why it is so dangerous. One day you awake to find your edge has dulled, your hunger for life has waned, and your courage has grown timid. Discomfort is not your enemy, it is your teacher. It sharpens resolve, awakens resourcefulness, and forges a will that does not waver. Those who run from discomfort run from their own potential. Those who welcome it, who see every hard thing as a chance to grow, become the architects of their own transformation. They are not content with a life that merely avoids pain. They seek a life that means something. Ease may give you shelter, but only challenge gives you strength. The pleasure of the moment fades, but the growth earned through adversity endures. It is easy to look at the struggles of others and think, I wish my road was as smooth as theirs. But if you could see beneath the surface, you would find that those who appear strong, those whose lives inspire, have earned their strength in the crucible of hardship. They did not choose comfort, they chose the fire. Do not be lulled by the softness of comfort's chain. Do not settle for a life defined by what is easy. Rise above the seduction of ease and choose each day to do at least one thing that demands effort, courage, or sacrifice. In these small daily victories, you will find your true self. You will reclaim the fire that comfort tries so gently to extinguish. Let the world chase after pleasure. Let the crowd seek only what soothes. You choose the hard road when it leads to something worthwhile. Choose discomfort when it brings growth. Choose to become, not merely to exist. For in the end, comfort may offer you safety, but only at the price of your spirit. Greatness, meaning, and fulfillment are reserved for those who are willing to bear the discomfort that shapes them. Never forget, the last chain is the softest, but it is also the most dangerous. Break it daily. Step forward. Choose the difficult thing, and let your life become the story of a soul unafraid to rise, again and again, above the seduction of comfort.